I'm Scott L. Miller. It's the 22nd of August, 2023. This is my vlog of daily life living in Nicaragua, and we are back in Managua. I'm in the same spot I was yesterday when we wrapped up. So if you have not yet seen yesterday's episode, also filmed in Managua, go check that out. I am here for a wedding and on a weekend in the future, but I'm taking a little bit to just walk around. One, get some exercise. Two, see some of Managua and bring some of it to you. So yesterday, I actually did walking and filmed yesterday. This is a new day. I'm actually filming on a second day here in Managua. So we're going to be heading out right after the bump.
Had me in your possession, had you swimming inside my affection, but with you I came second, so I cut off the connection. And now you're calling me, holding your heart there inside your hands. You say I'm where you wanna be.
We're off on a walk. Today I'm going to take the Carretera Masaya again, but this time I'm going to be heading south instead of north to give you a completely different look at where we're walking here in the city. So there's some beautiful areas as I head out from the hotel. It's actually a really nice area. There's some nice stores. I just wanted to get a little shot of a home store to show there really are, you know, like fancy furniture stores and things here in town. I also want to turn around. So I'm standing in front of a Tip Top. For those who don't know, Tip Top is like the McDonald's of Nicaragua. It is a chain here, and they do chicken. Unfortunately, there's nothing vegetarian, there's nothing fish, no pescatarian. So either you eat meat and really like it. It's like a really good, high quality fast food. They're really nice places, like playgrounds for kids and stuff. Maybe you can see it, or you can't go. But here's a lot of traffic. I talk often about the crazy circuses that are always going on in Nicaragua, and there's one right here in this really expensive high-class district next to Metro Centro, and I want to show it, and also it's right next to Centro Palace. So if you're not familiar, Grupo Pelis, or the Pelis family, is the richest family in Central America, and they own Flor de Caña. They own the big, they own one of the banks here, two of the banks here, I'm not sure. They own some of the like gas stations, and I mentioned that I went to, I believe they own one of the ones I went to yesterday. Like they have a lot of stuff, right? They're invested everywhere, but they're they own the distillery and the sugar mills and that stuff. That's their kind of their big thing, but their name is more on auto dealerships around the country. So we're going to show right next to, so this is their main headquarters, is here in the Metro Central area. They've got this beautiful high rise with a bunch of their businesses located in there. And right next to it is the Water Circo Sobre Agua. So the name of the circus is Water, and it's a circus about water. Literally. So once again, the camera failed for audio completely. No audio whatsoever. So I'm still walking up the Carretera Masaya, and I made it just a little ways, and I stumbled on the most amazing little spot along the side of the road, and I had no idea what this was, and it was like nestled in between houses, and there's this like secret entrance to a little park, and I'm like, what? This is so crazy. So I started filming, and I got some good footage here, so bear with me because I have a lot of this talking head stuff, but I want to show the context of where I am and have time to record this. So we're going to do a voiceover for about 3 segments, so for several minutes here, but we do go back to normal audio in a little while. So this is just amazing for me. I was so surprised. Like, that's the Carretera Masaya right there. You can see where we had been, not very far from the last shot, right? Couple blocks at most, and that's southbound that we're looking at right there. And as we come up, it's like this little nestled bit of trees, and there's a fence and this amazing little park. I mean, the park is just a tiny little park, right? And cities have cute little parks. But I think that here in Managua, we have such a bad reputation and such a low expectation from people that, you know, is the municipality able to do these things? Is there really dollars going into, or quartered by going into these kinds of projects? And the answer is yes, there's absolutely, all over the country, including here. So you can see there's, you know, office buildings there to the right. That was actually a security company. And then this beautiful, small, but really nicely done park. It's like, I think it was 6 years old. And so we're going to take a walk through it, and we discover some really cool stuff connecting from this. So this is just the beginning of a pretty neat discovery, but this is the first that I've come across a park like this in Managua. And I need to stress, this is a crazy safe area, but we just came from the highway. and we're going into the neighborhood. So this is an interesting transition. Now, when we stayed in San Jose, Costa Rica a year ago, or about a year ago, there were some parks that reminded me a lot of this. So it's interesting that these, Nicaragua and Costa Rica share a lot of culture and history, so that they share some urban design and park design and that kind of stuff should not be surprising at all. However, they are such different countries, and these are things that when you're in Costa Rica, you tend to encounter a lot, and in Nicaragua, you tend not to. So I was pretty amazed when I stumbled on this and just what a cool spot. So we came through and we're suddenly in this really beautiful neighborhood, which we're showing there behind me. But I think you saw as we popped out of this park, there were some big steps, not the ones on the screen. There were some big steps on the screen directly across from the park. And that looks like another park, which I know it was expecting. Here they are. You can see them crisscrossing as they go up there, having a neat little design for accessibility. So I have no idea where these go. So we're just setting off to explore. And I really am sad that we don't have the original audio because it's much more interesting when I'm talking as it happens, but it is what it is. I got really delinquent on checking the camera. Every time I check it, of course, I see the audio, and then when we go to actually do it, it's like, oh, I didn't look on the times that I really needed to, and it lulls me into a false sense of security. But we did get audio for almost everything today. Yesterday, we lost a whole lot more, which made me very upset, especially during the storm when there was like more interesting commentary to be had. So here we are heading into this park, which I don't know how to say it. The other park was very much a playground, so it's like a children's park, and this is much more of an adult park. I did find this very strange for a lot of reasons. One is that it doesn't really go anywhere, and that's a mistake, I think. If this was to connect a few places together, this would be used all the time. And I've been in very similar ones in Costa Rica that did connect different neighborhoods together, and it was a beautiful walkway to move between parts of the city. And so I really enjoyed using those in San Jose. I would love to do that here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go anywhere particularly. Now, this place with these guys working, this is actually MedLab. So this is a business that took advantage of being on this interesting little park, and they actually have an entrance onto the park, which is amazing. It's a beautiful building. Like, you'd be happy with that anywhere in Europe as an office building, and with this cool park behind it. And you may notice there's yet another park that we're seeing in the background there. We're gonna get to that after this. This is all new discovery for me. Even though this is an area that's very close to where we've been in the city quite a bit, none of us get out and do adventures on foot in Managua. It just doesn't come up. Once in a while, we'll be moving between place to place and we'll be on foot. But in general, I'm never out walking neighborhoods and just exploring and randomly going from place to place. So this is a great opportunity to really see new things that we've not encountered at all before. And this was very cool. I did comment originally, I really think this is another missed opportunity all throughout the city, because Nicaraguans are very into large concrete walls all over the place. I think that there's a lot of street art and urban art, that graffiti style art, that would be excellent to cover the city in. And there are many great artists here, and I've seen some really good art all over the country, but there's so little of it. Like, this park is a perfect example. Yeah, there's this one little thing, and it's kind of an ad. Like, I don't even know. There's nothing special, but there could be amazing urban art all over this park, and that alone would uplift it so much and make it a destination. Like, come walk this and look at the art. Great place to take pictures and whatever. So I think that's a big missed opportunity that would be very easy to do. No construction needed, just use the walls that are there. But as it is, it's a very pleasant park. But you can see we're doing a big loop in these walls, and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's sad. And only MedLab, of all the businesses and homes that touch this park, chose to make an actual entrance onto the park, which I found very strange. And again, giant missed opportunity. If it was that lots of things connected, it would be a wonderful place to go and connect from business to business, or just get to those businesses in this way. So that's too bad. I looked in there to see what this other park was, and it was definitely interesting, but I didn't have a good way to get into it there. That was open because some guys were working that I just said hi to right there. So we're going to go around and go into the official entrance of this little park that I don't know what it is, and show it to you guys, because what a beautiful looking park from the back, right? We gotta get to the front and see what's really there. because it's definitely pretty neat and very well kept. These other parks are well kept, but they're quite a bit more wild. They're kind of just, you know, random grass or whatever, but this place is looking like it's got an awful lot of potential. So I was very excited to be finding all of this. Unfortunately, I don't remember what all the commentary was that I was doing at the time, so we just missed some of that. But thanks so much to everyone who is watching right now. If you like this content, maybe not this where I'm voicing over, but in general, this walking around Managua, discovering new areas, like get down in those comments. Let me know. Give us a like, obviously, on the episode, but get down in those comments and tell us, you know, oh, we want to see these barrios. We want to check out these restaurants. We got to see more of these parks, whatever. Let us know what's good, what's bad, your experiences, places that we should go. Obviously, yesterday we saw some really cool locations that I really want to go back to. So here we are in front of the park, looking up the street. I think that's south. And then here we are. So it's actually called Parque Dr. Sun Yat-sen. And there's a number of plaques and things that explain a bit about this person, and there's going to be a statue to the doctor in the park. But essentially, from what I was able to gather from all of the writings, this is basically the Taiwanese park, I believe donated by the nation of Taiwan to Nicaragua as kind of a friendship park. And it's very beautiful, very well kept as I went into it. Like every bit of it was quite nice. You know, the foliage and the lawns, the grass, everything. It was just very pleasant. And I was the only one in there, which is very sad. Like these beautiful city parks, there should be people out enjoying them for sure. And if you're going to be in Managua, get out there and enjoy those parks, right? Make use of this beautiful urban landscape and encourage people to utilize this stuff, because it is a beautiful city with a lot to offer. And the more that it gets used, the more that they're going to do that stuff, and the better it's going to make the city look, and the more attractive and the more appealing. And it is interesting that all this stuff that I'm showing is very hidden. No tourists are going to any of these things. These are a little bit hard to find. They're not in tourist areas. They are in very nice neighborhoods. Restaurants that we like to come to are very close to here. But this is definitely an area that expats that live in the country will go to, but not tourists. Talk about some interesting stuff. Finding a park, like a playground like that in the middle of the city, and then leading into a really cool park area, and then leading into the Taiwanese gardens, which I'm just now heading up the hill from. I'm going to head back to the Carretera. So this is Avenida Granada, and the one with the other, the playground is Gardenia, which is basically the Garden Ave. This is a wonderful neighborhood if you're ever looking at Managua in any way. This area, not a lot of residential, but certainly some. But overall, it's a really, really nice area. And this is where we tend to hang out a lot because we like Los Robles, a lot of nightlife, a lot of restaurants, a lot of just things to do. And very, very safe. We like it a lot. We like how well kept everything is, and it has a very urban feel compared to much of Nicaragua, which because of the low-lying, especially Managua, because of how low-lying everything has to be because of the earthquakes, it loses a bit of that city feel, which not everyone wants. So for some people, having the giant village feeling is a big bonus. But for people who are looking for an urban feel, you want a real city, right? Lots of Managua lacks that, but this area, to me, feels very urbane and could easily be a neighborhood in Guatemala City, or in Panama City, or in San Jose, especially. You can see like beautiful businesses all over the place, like great architecture, great plants and landscaping, and this is just a gorgeous area. And it's a little bit hilly, which gives it a little bit of character. And we're up here for restaurants all the time. Almost any time we're in the city, we stop by at least a little bit. I'm totally in the way. I'm gonna head over to the sidewalk here. Not a lot of traffic up here, but I am in the way. But yeah, I was not expecting to hop off of the Carretera and film over here while I was walking by, but kind of got sucked in. It's always an adventure when you're walking. Hola. Oh. Hola, buenos dias. That is Shabu Shabu and the security guards on camera. All right. We drive this a bit, but I never walk it. And when you're walking, of course, I say this all the time, you find like all the little like cute little hidden houses or the tiny little businesses you didn't see. The things with big signs you notice, right? Like shabu shabu, we knew that, but like things that don't catch your attention or a little house nestled in, this is how you find them, right? And sometimes there's like construction going on, so you really don't know what's back there until you're really close. Now this house looks abandoned and fantastic all at once. I love the style here. I love the look of the driveway. Like, I wish I knew how much this house was. Like this is the fixer up. I mean, maybe it's still in use, but it sure looks abandoned to me. I mean, that's a chain across the gate. As soon as this car goes by, I'm gonna film this. But this is I love the style, I love the location. This is beautiful. That was a neat house. That style, and even with it all run down and obviously abandoned, wow, it looks really cool. It's got so much potential. I'm walking past another place. I can tell there's something amazing in there, but it's all, because we're in the middle of the city, a lot of cool stuff is hidden. Oh, this one that I can tell is awesome is for sale, but I can't tell if it's like a house or a garden or what, but it's for sale. So, but it is. Yeah. Then, so I'm coming up on the original location of Cocina Doña Aide. This is a landmark in the city. So this is very high-end but traditional Nicaraguan food, and they're famous for their breakfast, but they do other things as well. And it's often packed, especially on the weekends. So the equivalent of the brunch crowd likes to come out here a lot. But it's interesting because they're traditional Nicaraguan food, but done in this very high-end way. So we've been there with live music. We've been there many times, and it's absolutely fantastic. If you're in this area, I'm going to show this. It is wonderful, really good food. And they do some interesting takes. There's some things that I only get here just because they're a little bit more complicated than some Nicaraguan food. But it shows what kind of a high-end neighborhood it is. So the region that we're in here along the Carretera is also where Faro's Casino is. Now there's casinos all over the country and all over the city, but this one's one of the big ones. And you can see the casino itself down there, and then they have parking, and then they have a food park. They have a bunch of restaurants. I think they own them all. And they're actually, like, they have the billboard. They're Nika Bet, and like they're everywhere. Faro's is really big. I've never been in one. I can't tell you anything about it, but casinos like this, I mean, they're nothing like in the US, but casinos are popular here. And at some point, I'm hoping we're gonna do some tours. Paul goes to a lot of casinos and knows a lot about how it works here and has a lot of insight and may be able to get us a tour of one of the really nice ones in Leon. So we're gonna try to do that at some point. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Some people have actually asked for that. Should be interesting. Now, I'm still heading south. I gotta head back pretty soon, but I wanna show this. There's not a lot of American chains in Nicaragua. Like, it's not a big thing, but there's a few, right? We've got the McDonald's and Burger King, Carl's Jr., of all things. We have Hard Rock Cafe. There's only a handful. Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Papa John's. It's really very few. The one that I think is most surprising, really Little Caesars, but the one that's most surprising overall is this one. There is more than one TGI Fridays in the country. Okay. I have no idea why. I've not been into the one here, any of the ones here. I have no idea. I barely go to them in the States. No idea if it's really close to the US in style. I mean, the logos and everything look the same, but who knows if the food is the same? Who knows if they're able to get the same things? A lot of places modify a bit when they're here. Maybe at some point we'll get in there. The American restaurants here tend to be very expensive. So if you're gonna do that, you're gonna be spending not as much as if you're in the US, where you're gonna be spending much closer to that than you would otherwise, which kind of is like, why would I do that? And it's American food. Like, it's almost never someplace you're really missing. Now, Burger King, we do miss the veggie Whoppers. That's a kind of unique thing. So, okay, we get a few of those things. But in most cases, it's like, oh, it's just kind of cheap frozen food at really high prices. So you don't tend to do it under most circumstances, but once in a while, if you're missing something specific, and I know like Hard Rock has some very specific vegetarian food, so we want to check that out sometime for food. Like, I've been there, but I've never eaten dinner there here in Managua. So like, okay, that's cool. But and maybe TGI Fridays has some cool vegetarian stuff too. Maybe it's worth checking out. Like, it's worth a trip, but it's just surprising that it's here. And you're like, when you live here, you're like, wait, there's a completely random American chain with a name no Nicaraguan understands. Like, of all things, they're like, what the hell is a TGI Fridays? Like, the name is so dumb to Nicaraguans who don't use that expression. Whew, it is getting hot out here. The sun is out. We're after 9 o'clock now. I came out about 7:30, so I've been walking a bit and yeah, getting some exercise, which is nice. I'm going to show a little bit. You'll figure out where I am. Just give you an idea of what it looks like in the sun now that it's coming out. One of the things that I find interesting is how few things open up in the morning in Managua. Obviously something's open, but so many things, like the donut shop doesn't open till 10. Who wants donuts by 10? I mean, somebody. Like, sometimes I want donuts after 10, but in general, I want to get up early in the morning and get donuts, not wait until 10 o'clock and then go get donuts. So we're looking northbound here towards Metro Centro and heading back towards the Hilton Princessa where I'm staying because I need to shower because it's really warm and find some breakfast and get on the road. Paul and Dominica, while I'm doing this, they're out at Price Mart doing the big shopping, which I'm kind of useless for shopping. And how many people can you take to go do that stuff? It's not very useful for me to be there. So they're working on that while I'm getting some exercise. Really pretty close to 2 hours of walking today after 3 hours yesterday. I know we only showed a little bit of the Carretera Masaya, but it's a start, right? We're starting to show bits of Managua, give you an idea of at least what the thoroughfare looks like in one of the most popular areas of the city. This is, you know, I hope pretty informative that, you know, the main area looks like this. And then, so I'm on the east side of the road now. I'm just going to show this little sidewalk that I popped onto because I got to come down here to cross the road. Anyway, to give you an idea of what, like just inches off of this perfectly fine highway, you get really neat neighborhoods. All right, this spot is actually so cool. I'm gonna walk down here and see what it is because I don't even know what we're looking at. But as I'm walking along here, I'm seeing lots of restaurants that I haven't noticed before. It's one of the things I like about coming out for these walks is, especially like this, where I'm right next to the hotel. Like, it'd be so easy to come out and do all kinds of things, but I have no idea where things are or what's out there. So I'm not sure what to look for, and you just kind of go to the places that you know. This looks like it's a gorgeous park in the middle of the city. What? Where are we? It's gonna be really funny if this is where we were last night and I just didn't know how to get here. All right, this is the Parque Altamira. That's what we stumbled on, which is not a very big park, but it appears to be the neighborhood, which I never knew exactly where it is, of Altamira, which I'm in from time to time, but not this part, like, who knows, driving around side streets and stuff. But this is a very nice and quiet area. Like, these streets, really quiet, but the Carretera is right there. It's neat how you get that in Managua. I think there's a lot of living opportunities. I think Managua is a surprisingly livable city, and people just don't give it credit with nice shops. You know, walking in this area, there's so many like home furnishing shops and cute little restaurants and gastro parks and, you know, shopping malls and hotels. Like, it's nice being able to get in bars, of course, all kinds of nightlife and stuff, especially in this area, and bakeries, and there's a decent amount of fast food and even some American restaurants. But you can safely walk around, especially during the day. But even at night, a lot of this is very safe. And if you're, you know, easy to get by taxi. If you have a car, the Carretera takes you all over the city. For real life, this actually has a lot of potential. And you know, to some degree, I'm always surprised when people are like, "Oh, I'm looking at moving to Managua," and I'm like, "What? What made you choose Managua?" But whenever I'm here, I'm always like, you know, people give it such a bad rap. Sometimes I worry that I do too. That it really is a pretty nice city. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know, I miss a bit of that city experience. Leon just isn't, I mean, while we're a city, we're not a big city. And sometimes you miss that. And I'm a city guy for the most part. I grew up on a farm, but I really enjoy the tight packed city. I really enjoy things like this, getting out and being able to walk to restaurants and bars and go see things and people watch and sit in cafes. Those are things I miss in Leon. You can walk, but it is not the same. You're like hoofing it down long stretches of blocks, and it's just getting from point A to point B mostly because there's not a lot going on. Here, there's so much activity and side roads and things everywhere, and you don't have all that colonial structure making it tough that it's neat. Like, when you come across a cafe, you can just sit and people are going on and life's happening, and so much it's just so active that I miss that. And I enjoy that when I visit other places like San Jose, Costa Rica. I love all the activity going on and going and doing all the urban food and coffee places and all that kind of stuff. So Managua has more of that than we give it credit for, and it has these beautiful neighborhoods and hills and stuff. And I'm going to show, if you look up the street, it's really hard to see, but the Cocina de Doña Aide is up the street, and you can see the buildings going up the hill behind it. It's really beautiful. All right, I've been out walking for about an hour and a half. It is crazy hot. I need to get back to the hotel. This is my hotel. This is the Hilton Princessa right here, and there's this cool statue right here that I'm gonna take some shots of before we wind up, but my camera is just about full. I've been recording like crazy. I didn't completely empty it before I came out. That was my bad. But we've run down the batteries. We have run out the card. It has been a great walk. I am about to go pack up the room and take a shower from all the sweat, and we're going to be going out to breakfast, picking up everyone from PriceSmart, and heading back to Leon. We got a lot going on the day that I am returning from this, but I'm really glad we were able to walk the Carretera Masaya. If you like this kind of content where we're walking different places, if you're interested in Managua, all that, hey, go on down there in the description. If you're on the TV, I know you can't do it. You have to bring up a phone or a computer. It's way easier on the computer or the website, but just scroll up, go down. If nothing else, say hi, but let me know what you think of this kind of content. I really enjoy getting out and doing these walks for you. My feet are feeling much better than they were a year ago, and I think we're able to do this a lot more. We're learning how to keep the cameras alive for the most part. I hope the audio on this turned out. It's really hard with all this traffic, but this was a beautiful couple days in Managua. I'm really excited to see what this footage looks like. I really hope that we have audio, because I can't see the screen all the time and I don't actually know that the audio is working. So fingers crossed that everything we did has audio. That's a serious risk, and hopefully nothing's wrong with the camera after all the rain. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. I will see all of you tomorrow.